big economic boost for but we are bringing our attention. Still thousands of people in prison. I think our congressional visitors will highlight for you. I'll leave with that, and I invite you to say a few words at this moment. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your warm welcome. It's warm outside and it's warm inside here today, too. And welcome to Washington, D.C. I'm glad you're stimulating the economy here, but we need to make sure it's stimulated back home in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
It's very important that you're here today to speak up about what we can do to better protect the cause of human rights. The Lantos Human Rights Commission briefing today is very important. It's a step towards informing and educating all the members of Congress about the unacceptable treatment of Oromos in Ethiopia. The current situation in Ethiopia must not be allowed to continue. The Oromo people are suffering. I hear you and I share your concerns. Peaceful protesters are being imprisoned, they are being tortured, and they are being killed. The Ethiopian government must be held accountable, and it will take pressure from the Congress and the Obama administration to end this repression of the Oromo people. Later this week, I will be meeting with the Ethiopian ambassador to the United States, and that will be the message I deliver what I just told you. Stop the detentions, stop the repression, stop the killing, and respect human rights. We know that Ethiopia benefits greatly from a relationship with the United States. And the American people provide hundreds of millions of dollars of food and health care funding and agricultural assistance in Ethiopia. But we must demand in return that all human rights be respected. We must demand human rights be respected for the Oromo people. So friends, I am proud to be here with so many from Minnesota. By bus and car and airplane, 2 airplanes. So I want to thank you for being here. You are taking part in democracy. You will help the people in Ethiopia, but you will also help keep democracy strong and vibrant in the United States by contributing your voices. So, let me conclude with this. I do have to go to a meeting. For those of you who are from St. Paul, Minnesota, I work for you. You expect me to show up at the meetings to vote. Yes. I will be there. I will have staff at the Lantos meeting, and we will gather again in Minnesota, where I can control my time better and meet with you all there. So, I mean, no disrespect by leaving, but for those of you I represent, I have to get to work.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeroo tokko banaa yoo gootaniif. Ammallee dhiphinna bakkee irraa namoonni duubarra jirtan haga danda'amee sagalee keessan oduu gadi qabdanii baay'ee barbaachisaa. Namoonni akka dhagaan waan asirraa jedhamu amma daqiiqaa 5 keessatti Congressman Keith Ellison uduma isaan eegaatiin jirruyyuu namoonni maqaan keessan anasii gaditti dha'u akka afoo kana baatan isin barbaanna. Maaliifii sagantaa irra waan jirtaniif akka afoo kana baatan. What I say is because of space issues, those of you who are on the back, if you could open the way and also, just make your voice lower as much as possible, or end here. Now I call upon the following individuals to join me on the stage. Bonnie Holcomb, join me on the stage here. Abu Ahmed. Abu Ahmed Hussein Asjirani. Pastor Dr. Gammachu Olani. Obbo Zakarias Hailu. Sagaleen kun dhagamaa mi duuba irratti? Okay. Okay, Congressman Keith Ellison eegaatiin jirra. Kanaaf obsa nuuf godhaa daqiiqaa afur yookiin akkasitti hafee daqiiqaa 10 irratti as dhufa. Kanaaf ammallee warri duubarra jirtan yoo inni dhufu please bakkeessan banaa godhaa. Akkaataan itti deemnu our steps are Congressman Keith Ellison will make remarks, then followed with Bonnie Holcomb, and followed with Ahmed Hussein, followed with Pastor Dr. Gammachu Olani, and then conclude with my remarks.
I don't need to be. Okay, here's the thing. It's very important that we have this show because everybody that sees us, they wonder about it. And then when without this shirt, we're just another person in the building. But when we are together with this shirt, they're gonna wonder. They're gonna look at it. They're gonna. So it's, even if you are visiting, it is absolutely fine. You guys look fabulous. Please. It is available. Every state have their own color. Make sure you find out. Make sure you have your shirt. And I'm seeing a lot of people missing. I've already talked to this state. He's gonna put his own. We're making a statement. The picture is taken. Every picture that's gonna get posted have a statement behind it. We're not just walking around. Everything we do, from top to bottom, we're making a statement. So please make sure you put your shirt on. Just wanna say that. Thank you.
Yeah, no matter since Sunday come.
Corner can say a lot. Go to the corners, please.
Are you with the media group? Are you? Yeah, please.
Walaaleen yennu maaliif sa'aatiin achi gad dhandhu gahaa waan jiruufi sagantaa keenyatti fufuu nu barbaachisa. Kanaaf akkuma beektanii yeroo kanatti haawusii keessatti seeshiniitu adeemaatiin jira. Waan adda addaati adeemaatiin jira. Ta'aaf tokko irratti illee ammoo Lantos Human Rights Hearing'itu adeemu deema. So kanaaf Congressman Keith Ellison nama bakka buufatee ergeetiin jira. Yeroo kana jalqabnaa jechuudha. Good morning. We welcome you to the Oromo Communities Media Briefing. We are here today, as you know, because of Tom Lantos Human Rights Briefings. That's going to be held shortly within an hour. So those of you from media, those of you from 38 states all over the United States, we welcome you to these media briefings. These media briefings are to highlight the atrocities that are happening on the majority ethnic group in Ethiopia. As you know, Oromos are the largest ethnic group in Ethiopia, but politically persecuted for many, many, many years. And the most recent peaceful protest has victimized thousands of people. There are over 400 that is killed. There are about 50,000 that are in jail. And there are young future generations that are languishing in prison. So this occasion makes really special for us because we do remember all those who have passed away in this struggle, and also the looming genocide and atrocities that's happening in the country. So the Tom Lantos hearing came because of that, and on this occasion, we really thank Congressman Keith Ellison for our champion, for leading the way, and for making this special day to happen. So with that, a few remarks. It's my honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Mustafa Jumale, who is with Congressman Keith Ellison office. He's from Minnesota. Oh no. He's from what we call Little Oromia, right? So Mustafa has been day and night with us, working hard with our board members, with our staff, and hearing about our issues and highlighting from time to time. And I would like Mustafa to say a few remarks. And I just want to say thanks to him for facilitating this room for us. And Mustafa, you are welcome to say a few words, and then we follow with Bonnie.
Hi everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Unfortunately, Congressman Ellison is in a meeting right now, but he's really looking forward to the briefing in about an hour. And as you know, for us, human rights in Ethiopia is not an international issue. It is a local issue. We represent the largest Oromo community in North America. We understand when people are struggling in Ethiopia, it affects our constituents back home. And we are really looking forward to the community being out here today and meeting with members of Congress and their senators to talk about how important this issue is. So every member that you meet with, every staff member that you're talking to today is helping establish ties and to pass on that narrative of struggle in Ethiopia. So as you know, today is a first step in many organizing that's going to be happening on this issue. This is not going to happen overnight. And I believe together, and I believe Mr. Ellison also has the same sentiment, that we will be able to effectively advocate for human rights issues in the Oromo region, in the Ogaden region, in the Gambela region, in Ethiopia. So, and also, as you know, Ethiopia is suffering one of the largest droughts currently. And the opposition and the struggle that the people are facing is just compounding that effect. So I really thank you all for traveling out here, for leaving your communities and coming here to represent your community. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a very great honor and a privilege to speak, although I've been given 5 minutes, to speak to you about the conditions in Oromia and beyond Oromia in Ethiopia in general. I'm an anthropologist. I first went to the Oromia region in the early 1970s and realized the power and the presence of the Oromo people in the country, and was confronted with the interesting and contradictory truth that the majority of people in the country were treated like a minority. And for 40 years, I have watched as the majority people continued to be treated as a minority. I have, in fact, written about this, talked about this as a structural issue, a structural problem, but it has continued as Oromo have experienced exploitation, have stayed on their land and given and given and given. Oromia constitute the greatest part of the wealth of Ethiopia. And that wealth has sustained that state for all the time that I have been watching. And what I have appreciated as an anthropologist is that the Oromo people, because of the sacred knowledge and practices that they honor, the way that they see themselves as part of the land and the resources that are available, have created and have nurtured and preserved that wealth. And even though they have borne a large amount of exploitation, they have stayed on that land and continue to be productive and continue to create peace and keep the water clean. They're responsible for the forests, the arable lands, the clean waters, the people, the animals, even the pollinators. And I was asked recently, why are the Oromo protesting now? They have had all this exploitation all this time. The reason that I think we will discuss as we go into briefing and call for further hearing as we probe more deeply, we'll see that the Oromo now are threatened to be removed from the land, to be actually dispossessed, disconnected from the source of life, which they actually refer to as Handura, which is the navel, the umbilicus that gives them life and gives them strength and power. And when they are removed, or even threatened to be removed from that land, they are rising up. The generation that's rising up is the generation that was raised under this government's period of time. And this is a peaceful protest, an attempt to express dissent that we cannot be separated from our land, is what the Oromos are saying. Land is life. Now, I talked to a woman who had been in Colorado last week, and she saw Oromo protesting in front of the Colorado legislature. And she said, why should Americans care about what's going on in Oromia? We've never even heard of you. Well, it's true. Oromo have not had a voice in the international community. Oromo have always had someone speaking for them on their behalf and misinterpreting their particular interests and concerns. And as she spoke to people there, she began to realize that if Oromo lose the land, and if the protectors and nurturers of the resources are removed, all of humanity suffers. The destruction, the pollution, the devastation, the misdirection of these resources, it actually is something that goes against the best interests of humanity. And I would point out, now that the new global agenda has been set, that by 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, have been